Hello and welcome. I'm Liz, a trauma-informed yoga educator and passionate advocate for mental and emotional health. In this first episode, I want to take you back to the beginning, my story, my why, and what brought me to this work. Whether you're a yoga teacher, a passionate yoga practitioner, or simply someone interested in nervous system regulation, mental, emotional well-being, and healing through movement, I hope this story will resonate with you. I didn't grow up dreaming of becoming a yoga teacher, but I always had a calling to do something meaningful and to help others. Like many of you, I came to yoga from a place of need. My 20s and 30s were spent in a high-pressure corporate environment. I had success on paper, a great career, an amazing income, and a certain lifestyle that comes with it. But I was chronically stressed, which eventually led to a corporate burnout. I didn't have that language at the time, of course. I just knew that something didn't feel right. I was often anxious, overstimulated, exhausted, disconnected from my own body and my own emotions. Looking back now, I understand that I was in a chronic dysregulated state, doing all the things, performing, achieving, showing up. But inside, I was kind of numb and constantly exhausted no matter how much I have slept. And underneath that numbness and tiredness was a well of unprocessed emotions and trauma I hadn't yet dared to face. How did my first experience with yoga look like? While I was living in London in 2011, a lovely friend of mine invited me to a yoga class after work. I remember that we entered into a cramped space in a loft of an Asian cash and carry supermarket where a very traditional Hatha yoga class took place with a teacher from India. It was all foreign to me. I didn't understand half of what has been said, and at the time it was just fun and a good stretch and a good workout. So like for most people, my entry point to yoga was the physical aspect of it. Fast forward a few years, while I was already living in Germany, I started to take regular yoga classes, exploring all the styles out there, still mostly enjoying the physical side of the practice. During my years of practice in Germany, often while lying in the stillness of Shavasana, emotions that had been buried for years began to rise to the surface. I didn't understand at the time the mechanism behind it yet, but I knew that something profound has shifted. I had finally slowed down enough to meet myself. That was the beginning of my healing journey and the unraveling of everything I thought I knew about yoga, health, and myself. In 2017, while scrolling on my phone, an ad popped up about a 200-hour yoga teacher training in India that caught my eye. I always wanted to visit India and I thought, great, I have my next holiday destination. And in the meantime, I can complete a yoga course or whatever. I had zero clue what it really meant. That it's not going to be a nice, chill yoga retreat, but rather a boot camp, waking up at 5 a.m. with hours of movement, breathing, meditation, mantra singing, kriyas, lectures, and all. It was kind of a shock to my system, to be honest, but also exhilarating. I loved every minute of it, especially the hard ones. But I still consider this as an adventure only, that brings me deeper into yoga for my own health benefit. I really didn't plan to actually teach. And then it all changed, and I remember the exact moment of that shift. It was our final teaching exam. I was sitting in front of the class of my fellow students, ready to teach my first yoga class. And that moment, I was fully there, fully in my body, fully in my power. And I had the realization, an absolute clarity, that I was born to do this. In that moment, I felt that this could be the path through which I will be able to support others while doing something I'm really passionate about. I want to share this with others. After this life-changing and transformational month in India, it didn't feel quite right to return to my office job. But financial anxiety took the best of me, and I slowly returned to my old routines. But at least I kept up with my practice and started to teach a few classes in local studios and parks beside my full-time job. In the meantime, I kept an eye out for more trainings, and I used my annual holidays to travel to Southeast Asia for more yoga education. And somehow I kept on returning to a tiny precious island in Thailand called Koh Phangan. I completed my Yin Yoga and Chinese Meridians teacher training and my trauma-informed teacher training in Thailand. Both courses brought me clarity on the direction I wanted to go within yoga. And during one of my trainings, I got hospitalized for 10 days with a bad case of dengue fever. So while floating between kind of life and death in a kind of limbo, made me really question again. If I survive this, do I really want to return to the life I have been living? Life is too short. Why am I spending most of it with things that do not really bring me joy? I was desperate for a way out at this point, so I started to plan my possible exit from the corporate life, however, taking it slow and reducing my office hours, increasing my teaching activity. It did not do the trick. Teaching yoga workshops, plus a demanding daytime job on top of it, resulted in massive overwhelm. I ignored the signals of my body for a while. I was always a high achiever and I thought that I can just juggle it all. I could not. I completely burned myself out and developed various physical and mental issues, all the results of chronic stress and work overload. I finally listened to the loud screams of my body and made a step into the unknown. I left my corporate job and became a freelance yoga teacher in 2019. Letting go of my regular paycheck and the security that comes with it was indeed a scary experience, but I did it anyway, and I never for a moment regretted that choice. In 2021, I moved to Thailand, to the island of Koh Phangan. So why a trauma-informed approach? The yoga world often focuses on alignment and achievement. But I started to see behind the surface the tears that came in Shavasana, the students who couldn't be still, the ones who disassociated through movement or shut down during physical touch. I was thinking to myself, why would I even touch students if I myself am not comfortable with touch from strangers? I realized I need a different approach. Not just more yoga, but safer, slower, more intentional yoga. Yoga that acknowledges trauma, that honors emotional expression, that supports the nervous system, that understands consent, presence, boundaries, and space holding. And so my trauma-informed Yin Yoga approach was born. So why Yin Yoga? Yin Yoga is in many ways the perfect container for trauma-informed work. Its slow pace, emphasis on reasonable stillness and sensation, connection to the emotional aspects of meridians, targeting the deep connective tissue layers of the body makes it a deeply somatic practice, but only if it's offered with care. Yin can easily become unsafe, and a minefield of triggers if we push through resistance, bypass emotional responses, or ignore our edges. That's why understanding trauma, emotional regulation, and the subtle art of holding space is crucial. I now facilitate my own 100 hours trauma-informed yin yoga and Chinese Meridians teacher training, educating teachers and practitioners from all over the world. My students come from very different backgrounds, but they share a deep desire to heal and to help others to feel safe in their bodies again. This is why I do what I do. My mission is simple: to help create safer, more emotionally attuned yoga spaces where boundaries are respected. Spaces where both teachers and students feel empowered, grounded, and deeply supported. Spaces where we remember that yoga isn't about flexibility or aesthetics, but about connection, presence, and healing. In my series of blog posts, YouTube videos, podcasts, and my social media content, I will be sharing educational deep dives into trauma-informed teaching, insights on Chinese meridians and emotions, nervous system regulation practices, ethical and practical guidance for yoga teachers and yoga practitioners, and much more. And most importantly, I will be sharing honest conversations about what it means to be a teacher in today's world, the challenges, the joys, the doubts, the growth. Whether you're here to deepen your personal practice or to share this work with others, you are welcome here. If this resonates, I invite you to download my free ebook on Meridians, Emotions, and Yin Yoga, to join my next free webinar series about trauma-informed yoga, or to join my next teacher training to deepen your practice and teaching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Thank you for being here. I'm honored to walk this path alongside you. And until next time, take care and don't forget to take it slow. Love, Liz.